the action when realistically the burden of proof hasn't been discharged.
Okay, all right. I'm going to break in. I just want to hear so let's talk about it first. Let's resolve this question to the extent that we can. Ashok, you do believe war crimes have been committed by Israel in Gaza and are being committed by Israel in Gaza. Make the case. Give us the evidence.
Okay, yeah, let's make the case. So what are war crimes? It's articulated in the Rome Statute, Article 8.2, the deliberate targeting of civilians. We know that this has happened consistently. The evidence is overwhelming, from every hospital being bombed, repeated airstrikes on UN schools and shelters. It's the most UN workers that have been killed in history, the most doctors that have been killed in history, the most journalists that have been killed in history, more than every single war in the 20th century combined. And then we have independent organizations, including Amnesty International and Human Rights Watch, that have supported this claim. The starvation of civilians as a method of warfare. This is, again, in the Rome Statute, Article 8.2, that we know that Israel's total siege has cut off all food and water. Israel is the one that controls the border. And we have intent. So Defense Minister Yoav Gallant said, quote, no electricity, no food, no fuel. We are fighting human animals. This is right after October 7th. This, of course, was supported by our own government. Starmer said that they had that right, which is against a violation of international law, and supported by Lamy. So, and the famine conditions are well documented. We know that they're happening right now as a direct consequence of these policies. And then attack on civilian infrastructure. Again, part of the Rome Statute, Article 8.2, intentionally directing attacks against civilian objects. We have the destruction of every single hospital. And we have the destruction of infrastructure. So all of the water and sanitation infrastructure have been actively destroyed. 92% of all infrastructure in Gaza, residential infrastructure, have been deliberately and consciously destroyed by the settler state Israel. Number 4, forced displacement and collective punishment. We know from the Geneva Convention that it prohibits forced transfer of protected persons, and the Rome Statute, Article 8.2, forcible transfer is a war crime. The evidence is there because we have 1.1 million people have been evacuated from northern Gaza, and there's a prison being built by the state of Israel that they've articulated a concentration camp in southern Gaza, and the Rafah offensive was intended to displace the remaining 1 million. You make the conditions so bad that you, quote unquote, transfer the population. That is a euphemism for ethnic cleansing, a war crime under the Rome Statute and the Geneva Convention. The indiscriminate use of force and disproportionate force, again, a direct violation of the Rome Statute, Article 8.2. The mass civilian casualties in dense populations. They say it's now 58,000. That is a gross understatement. Independent studies have said that it might be up 200,000 to 300,000 people. And the direct obstruction of humanitarian aid, that's a direct violation of the Rome Statute, Article 8.2, blocking humanitarian relief to a civilian population, half of whom are children.
I sense that you can go on, but that's enough to work with, Daniel. Your response?